Torah portion, and we're going to start off. We're going to start off with some Hanukkah stuff, if you don't mind, and just to have a little discussion about this fabulous holiday we got going on. Hi, Miriam. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, creator of the universe, who gives us the opportunity to soak ourselves in Torah, or to get busy with Torah, or to, study Torah, which I like the soaking in. So, we got Brad's coming in. Let's let him in over here. Fantastic. Okay. Happy Chanukah, everybody. Chanukah Sameach. Did everybody have a chance? You still have a couple days to light a Chanukiah yet? Everybody have an opportunity to light a Chanukiah? Now, it's interesting. I was hanging out with some second graders yesterday, and I started off my lesson with them. I pulled it up on the smart board, and I created a rectangle and I created a square. And then we started talking about, well, tell me what are the qualities of a rectangle? They're like, oh, it's 4 sides. It's got to have those angles. They still don't understand right angles yet. And they say, well, why is it called a right angle if it's on the left side? And I said, I don't know. That's a really good question. But we said it's like 90 degrees. And so they're talking about, okay, yeah, this is a rectangle. And then I said, all right, so now I drew a square. I drew a square on the board, and I told him, tell me about a square. Oh, it's got 4 sides and it's got the angles. I said, well, I thought you said that's the same thing about the rectangle. What, Doug? What are you drinking over there? Oh man,
it's coffee.
Okay. Threw me off.
Hey, it's
look at that. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, we'll go back to the second Chris talking about the square, right? But they said, but what's different is in the square, it's all 4 sides. So that means that all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares, right? All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. And they're like, okay, well, why are we talking about math today if it's the clergy visit? What is going on? I said, well, first I said, everything's got math. Everything you could ever think of, math is included. There's always math. But I said, because what do we call these things here? The broken one, or the one that Doug has behind him. Often people refer to those as menorahs, right? As menorahs. They're not wrong. I also refer to them as Hanukkah menorahs or Chanukiah, right? So just as a very interesting kind of point of information, all Chanukiyot, which is the plural of Chanukiah, right? All Chanukiyot are menorot, which is the plural of menorah, or menorahs, right? We'll say all Chanukiyahs are menorahs, but not all menorahs are Chanukiyahs, right? All Chanukiyahs are menorahs, but not all menorahs are Chanukiyahs. Because, oh, Miriam, look what she's got going on. I mean, she's got her fancy sweater. You're muted. I'm sure you're saying something fabulous, but there it is. Lovely. So that is a Chanukiah sweater or a Hanukkah menorah, right? So we have, it's like saying, like a lamp is also called a menorah, right? It's just, we have the candelabras, like the 7, like the symbol of Israel with the 7, or also that is in our sanctuary, main sanctuary. That is also called a menorah, but it's not a Chanukiah. Right?
And the one on the Arch of Titus in Rome has only 7 branches on that one. And that's also called a menorah.
That's also the menorah. That's right. That's exactly right. So that's just a little, an interesting kind of an aside. So now, Hanukkah is one of my favorite holidays. It's one of my favorite holidays. And it's not because of the presents, because actually growing up, that wasn't a thing for me, which we'll get to in a second. That wasn't a thing for me. My parents, both immigrants from Israel, at the time, I mean, now it's different because our world is much, much smaller. But at the time, they were like, presents, we're going to give you Hanukkah geld, or we're going to be doing this. But, I wanted to have presents because all of my friends were having presents, my non-Jewish friends. But it wasn't because of the presents. It wasn't because of the sufganiyot or the latkes. And, if you know me, I love a good sufganiya and a good latke. Always use a good, love a good donut. It wasn't because of the decorations or anything like that. It was actually because of this song, one of the songs that we sing, and actually the second prayer. The second prayer that we say after lighting the candles, we say, Sha'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim ha'hem ba'azman hazeh. That blessed are you, Adonai, our God, creator of the universe, who made miracles for our ancestors in that time, right? We're thanking God for the miracles. And that's the second blessing we say. And we also sing a song about miracles, where we sing Al Hanisim v'Hal Furqan v'Hal Gvurot v'Hal Tshuva v'Hal Niflaot she'asita lavotenu b'yamim ha'hem b'zman hazeh. Does that ring a bell? So we sing about the miracles and the redemption and the strength that God gave to our people in those times. So check this out. We sing this song. Get ready for this. We sing this song on only 2 holidays. We sing this song about miracles on only 2 holidays. And I'll give you a little special extra hint. There's still debate today of adding a third holiday that we would sing this song. So if I said that one of the holidays is Hanukkah, take a guess of what is the other holiday that we would sing about miracles? Take a guess. Who's got a guess? Who said that? Who said that?
Purim.
Oh, Doug, is that you? Okay, yes. We sing it on Purim. Yes, that's actually the other holiday that we sing about miracles. We sing about on Purim and Hanukkah. We don't sing about it on Passover, where we have the miracle of the parting of the sea. Whoa, open that thing up. We don't sing about it then. We don't sing about it on Shavuot with the receiving of the Torah, or the pillars of the fire and the smoke and all of those kind of things. We don't even sing about it on Rosh Hashanah, the miracle of creation, that God said, let there be light, and there was light. There's a miracle. We don't sing about it then. We sing about it only on 2 holidays, Hanukkah and Purim. Why? What is it about these holidays that we would sing about miracles? We don't sing about it on Passover. We don't sing about it on Rosh Hashanah. We don't sing about it on Shavuot. Why Hanukkah and Purim, of all holidays? Why sing about miracles? Pnina, Savta, מה את חושבת?
We were facing alienation altogether by the Greeks at one point, and by the Persian, by HaShavuah and Haman. So those are the 2 crucial moments in history. Total alienation.
But why do we sing about miracles there?
Because
why not sing about the miracle over Pesach?
Because the odds
parting of the sea.
The odds were not in our favor.
How were the odds in our favor during Pesach?
Well,
how are the odds remotely in our favor during Pesach?
The Egyptians were already under the water, so they passed.
But that's, everything then leading up to it, right? Everything then leading up to it. Still, why not sing about it then?
I don't know.
Well, a lot of people were killed at the time during Pesach. the Egyptians were killed, the children were killed, a lot of killing going on. That's why we don't
Killing
sing
on,
about
in all of these holidays. All of these holidays is a killing. So why specifically Purim and Hanukkah?
Here's a long shot.
Go ahead.
Esther and Judith.
Oh, tell us more.
I don't know whether I can tell you too much.
Fascinating.
Well, Judith is not mentioned much, but she's a real hero in the story, at least what I've learned. And of course, Esther is the prime person in Purim. So, but I said it's a long shot.
Why is that a long shot? It's not a long shot. It's just I need more. It's not a long shot because I really like where you're going with it.
Phyllis will add.
Well, and people who took on the role of saving the Jews when all hope was lost did things that nobody would have anticipated that they could do.
Microphone drop. I love it, Phyllis. Yes, okay, go, Miriam. Then we're going to talk a little bit more. Go, Miriam.
Just a thought. I don't think it's the right answer, though.
Stop with this. Why do you start your answer with, this is not the right answer?
Okay, I'll stop doing that. I do it all the time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I think it's because perhaps we were about to be annihilated. We were on the verge of destruction. We were on the verge of total desecration by Haman and by Nebuchadnezzar. And we were a very small group of Maccabees. And the miracle, some rabbis say, is not the burning of the lights of the oil, but the miracle was that such a small group could have possibly defeated this huge Greco-Syrian army, and we did it. And that
Beautiful.
is fine.
So I believe, Safta, go.
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I think it's also there was alienation of the faith. That Judaism was in jeopardy because there was a lot of assimilation, especially in Purim. There was no mention of God in the whole Megillah. And they were actually, during Hanukkah, there was also brotherly fighting between them because the Jews that wanted to be more modern or like the Greeks, and the ones who actually, like Mattathias and his sons, who wanted to preserve the faith, the Jewish faith.
Okay.
So there was double alienation. It wasn't just numbers in people, it was also the faith.
Fabulous. Well, that's not fabulous, but what you said was fabulous, but you know what I mean. But yes, it is the triumph of the human spirit, right? In this Esther, in the Megillat Esther, God is not even mentioned, but they say it's like everything is kind of hidden and revealed in that story, right? But God's not even mentioned. And in Hanukkah, it's not God acting in the miracle, not God parting the sea, but it's like in the name of God. It's in order to be able to continue their relationship with God. But it was humans, right? It's the power and strength of the human spirit to overcome great odds and adversity. When others didn't believe in them, and when many times you don't believe in yourself, right? But that doesn't stop us. That is why it's my favorite holiday. One of my favorites, because it really is a celebration and an appreciation of the strength and power of the human spirit, right? It's the strength and power of the human spirit. Now, it's very interesting. This is another point I'm going to make, which I find very interesting that Nina just made. There was this infighting stuff. So, okay, look, I'm wearing my fabulous sweater. Miriam's wearing her fabulous sweater. right? I was talking about this idea of presence and whatnot. The non-Jewish world, at least here in America, right? The non-Jewish world here in America believes that Hanukkah is our most important holiday, right? The non-Jewish world in America, right, believe that Hanukkah is our most important holiday. Why? Courtney.
Timing. Because it overlaps with their Christmas, and I think there's they're in the non-Jewish world where there are some Jews. It's like, well, here, you guys get something too. You know, hey, my Jewish friend, it's Christmas here, but you get Hanukkah.
Thank you, Courtney. Brad, I see you unmuted. Go.
Well, so many Jews have commercialized it in the same way that Christmas has been commercialized. It's no longer just giving a token little gift or Hanukkah gelt or, a minor, well, it's a festival. After all, it is a festival of lights. It's not even a holiday. So it's been so commercialized by so many Jews that it's no wonder that Christians feel the way that they do.
Okay, now we get in somewhere here. Miriam, go.
Well, I'm for the first time, I'm thinking this way, and I haven't before. It is not our holiday. It is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. And as we know, New Year's Day was the 8th day, and that was the circumcision of Jesus. And Jews have taken on this Christmas holiday. They have, some of them, have made their homes as Christian as possible. They have stockings on their fireplace, Christmas stockings. They have a gorgeous Christmas tree. They have decorated it. I know a Jewish family that invited Jewish friends over so that they could all decorate their Christmas tree together. That was something new for me. A little taken aback I was. And so I have this question to ask, and I don't think we need to spend time doing it here, perhaps another time. I don't think that any survey.
You froze, Miriam. Start again. Say it again. Start again. You froze. You don't think any what?
I'm not sure that a survey has been taken of how Christians feel that Jews have somewhat usurped their holiday along with them. I don't know how they feel about it. Do they have any feelings? Do they have any reactions? Should they have any reactions? I don't know. But Jews are celebrating Christmas today as Christians are celebrating.
I don't think that the non-Jews, and we'll just say Christians, but a lot of people celebrate because it's turned into like an American holiday, but I don't think they care. They don't think about us. But here's the thing, right? We did all these things. It's not because of the non-Jewish world that the non-Jewish world thinks that Hanukkah is our most important holiday. It's because of us. That it's something that we've created, this idea of assimilation and this need for, and this goes back, right? This goes back to the times of real immigration to America and suburban sprawl and all of those kind of things, right? Of wanting to say, hey, look, we're the same as you. We're Americans. Okay, maybe our faith is different, but we're American. We're just like you. You have Christmas, we have Hanukkah. Look, we have our decorations, we have our presents, we have our songs, we have our dress ups and everything like that. Like the ugly sweater, that's not a Hanukkah thing. I don't remember reading in the book of Maccabees about the ugly sweaters. I don't, right? Or they have the elf on a shelf. We now have the mensch on a bench. Right, we have the decorations, and they'll put up the blue. We have the blue and white, and it doesn't even have to be like I'm putting up a Hanukkah bush, Christmas tree. No, I'm going to put out lights. I'm going to put out signs. I'm going to get, we're going to wrap the presents. We're going to do all these things, and then this is what we've created. It's an assimilation reaction, if you will, of wanting to be like that. And can anybody now Do you see the irony? The way we celebrate this holiday. Can you see the, and I'm not making a judgment because I love it. I mean, I get it, but can you see the irony in the way that we celebrate this holiday? Courtney, I saw a hand.
Well, I just wanted to point out the irony of the fact that most of the most popular mainstream Christmas songs are written by Jewish.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely right.
So, I mean, like,
yes.
At some point, I don't want this to get into economic politics, but it's also like the capitalism, right? Like, let's get in on this. There are careers to be
100%.
had and incomes to be made and things like that. But
the need to, correct. I mean, with our teens, we did this really fabulous program where we looked at all these different Christmas songs, and we looked at who wrote them, when they wrote them, why they wrote them. It is 95% of it. But like, so Penina said, wait, look, I want to give the tech award out to Phyllis and Warren for the virtual raising of the hand. Go ahead. And then Penina, you got the floor after.
So a friend of mine sent me photos. She lives in Pittsburgh, and there's a thing called the Grand Hanukkah Parade, which is a car parade, and all of the cars have Hanukkah lit up on top. It's like massive.
Yeah, it's like my neighborhood. I live in La Cienega and Olympic in South Carthay. Every other car's got one of those up on there, right?
I've never seen that before.
Oh, you haven't seen that? Again, 3 people like down the street, 3 people on my block at least.
We live in Portland. It's probably why we haven't seen it.
You guys live in Portland?
Yes.
Is that a street in my neighborhood?
It might. No.
Wow. Penina, go. I think we got Penina and then Brad.
I think it's just a celebration of freedom to believe.
Nachon. Yes.
Because when Jesus was, when the whole thing of Christianity started, they were also persecuted. The Romans were killing in them. And actually, if it wouldn't have been for the Christian religion, today the Romans will still be hanging people on a pole and still throw them to the lions. So we have to give some credit to this whole idea.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I love it.
And the beach and so forth and so forth. So there is some kind of, I would say, kinship when it comes to Christmas and Hanukkah, because it, like I said, it's actually freedom of religion. Because
that's it. So by the way, that's exactly right.
That you're talking about, the whole book is only strategies. I don't know if you read it and you looked into it.
Yeah.
All strategies of war, the way the Maccabees fought the Greeks. And we have to also realize that they won because the Romans started at that time taking over, and the Greeks got busy defending themselves from the Romans. Therefore, the Maccabees had a better chance to overcome them. And the way that they talk about strategies, it's all the mountains that we have in Israel and all those hills that we can say thank you for.
Correct. And ugly sweaters are very distracting in war. Okay. So that is definitely going to be. So, okay, Brad, and then I'm going to make a point. Go, Brad.
Well, and back to your question about the irony of it. I mean, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but for people to think that it's our most important holiday is extremely ironic because it's not even a holiday, it's a festival.
Correct.
It's not one of the biblical holidays. And in fact, if you were to ask most people, what is our most important holiday, they might not even realize, I think, as I was taught, that our most important holiday is Shabbat. There's the irony of, to me, in all of this.
And who did the Maccabees hate the most? Who were they fighting against the most? They didn't like those Assyrian Greeks, and they came in there. But who did they hate even more than the Assyrian Greeks?
The
Hellenist Jews. The Hellenist Jews. The Jews who were adapting that culture. the assimilationists. So here we are celebrating people who are fighting against assimilation, and the way that we celebrate is through an assimilation style celebration. Isn't that cuckoo? I mean, that's the part that just totally breaks my new. And at the same time, it's okay. For me, it's totally, yeah, I love it. I enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. And then I share that with my kids and it, but you know, that they also know that it's not the most important holiday. Is that so? But here's the thing. I said that we sing this song on two holidays. There's a third that there is a lot of debate and that people sing this song for. Can you guess which holiday is that people are advocating to add this song about miracles to? Based on what we just said about Purim and Hanukkah.
Maybe Yom Ha'atzmaut?
Not maybe Yom Ha'atzmaut. Yes, Yom Ha'atzmaut. The Yom Ha'atzmaut, the independence of the celebration of the independence of the state of Israel, because it ticks all those boxes, right? It ticks all those boxes. We didn't have like a parting of the sea, but we had a whole bunch of other fabulous things, and we're talking about the triumph of the human spirit and all of those kind of things. So yes, it's Yom Ha'atzmaut. So in our family, we also sing this song, Al Hanisim, about the miracles during Yom Ha'atzmaut as well. So then, I feel it was either Brad or Doug said that initially the holiday is not about the candles. So when did that even come into play? And why 8 days? Why 8 days? If that was always the way it was celebrated, was 8 days. However, right, the candle story, it comes from the Talmud, and it's about 500 years after, right, after the story of the Maccabees. And the rabbis of the Talmud thought that they created this story around this. Why? Why do you think that they would make up such a story?
Something happened there.
Well, yeah, so check it out. No, Doug, you were saying, Doug. Oh, sorry, Lorraine, were you about to jump in?
Oh, just a thought. My understanding is that we developed this story of the candles and the miracle of the oil to kind of step a little bit away from the military association, right?
Yes.
So that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Beautiful. That is absolutely, yes. Wow. I mean, it's like, which is also fascinating. Hanukkah, right, it's very very kid oriented, and the candles and the presents. Purim is also very kid oriented with the dress up, and these are both seriously violent stories, right? This is about wars, and this is like real fighting violence, right? So this game, I was like, if you're the rabbis, living in exile, right? They're coming up with this. We have to kind of adapt this story and change it up. So when we're celebrating these festivals, the ruling bodies of the kingdoms or countries that we're living in wouldn't think, oh, they're celebrating a military win, that they're gonna rise up against us in some form. Here's their story. There's people overcoming unsurmountable odds. They're in those odds right now. They're having this festival. Are they going to try and overcome us, right? So the rabbis are like, well, we have to switch it up a little bit, for not just for us, but for the future of the Jewish people if they're living in the diaspora, right? To kind of soften the festival. Even in the song Al Hanisim, the last words are changed, right? the way I sang it was like this. Al hanisim ve'al hapokan ve'al hagvurot ve'al hatshuvot ve'al haniflaot she'asita lavotenu, and for all the other wonders that you did to our ancestors. But the actual words are kol hamilchamot she'asita lavotenu, for all the wars that you waged for our people. Even there, the words are changed, because we don't want to seem outside of our land to be a militaristic people. Go, Lorraine.
I was just going to also add to that the piece of softening the interpretation of the festival, or creating an opportunity for engagement of the children, is also key, because at least on my case, I have 3 small children, and most of you probably at some point have struggled trying to engage the children in these events like Pesach, or if we have to go through other festivals, right? So each opportunity, each of the holidays and festivals, I think that it offers the space also for them to partake of that.
Beautiful.
So I think that, that's also probably something that weighed into.
100%. Because what do we say? We need to teach it to our children, teach it diligently to our children, right? To pass it down from generation to generation. Fabulous. Thank you, Lorraine. Go, Pnina.
Okay, so I used to be an assistant director of a summer camp, and we used to bring and teacher at the Cleveland Hebrew School. And the kids were from preschool to bar mitzvah time before they went to Akiva High School. So we brought a member of Chabad every time to the school or to the camp in the summer to actually do things physically and show, actually, I would say scientifically, sometimes how certain things can happen and accepted. So he brought one time for Hanukkah pure oil, pure olive oil. And that was for the purpose to show that there wasn't some kind of hocus pocus involved. The miracle actually was to find this little container with all the destruction and whatever was going on there. It was found. And because it stood there for so many days or months or years, the oil got to be separated, very pure. So when it lit, and it showed, and he bought 2 kinds of oils, and it actually showed that the pure oil lasted a lot longer.
Beautiful. Yes. So it's not that it's a made-up miracle. It's not that it's a made-up miracle.
That made it
in addition to this, it's an addition to the miracle, that there are multiple miracles here. Because yes, it is, they needed a special kind of oil. Right? Okay. Do you even know why it's called Hanukkah? Do we know how do you define the word? Doug, I do see your hand. I'll get you in a sec. Hanukkah, why it's even called Hanukkah?
You split it up. It's Chanu Bekafhe. They arrived on the 25th of Kislev. They camped from the word Machaneh, a campground. Chanu, they camped on Kafhe on the 25th of the month of Kislev.
Kislev, and that's when the holiday starts.
Place because it was all shambles and
so it also means all the fighting. Yes, Pnina, it also means dedication, right? To dedicate. Like for example, if you've ever moved to a new home and you put up a mezuzah on your home and you invite people over, everything, it's called the Chanukah Bait. It's a dedication of the home, of like, we are now taking this space and intentionally creating a Jewish space. And that's what they were doing. They were rededicating their temple, right? Chanukah means the rededication of the temple. And they needed to, like we said, the menorot, the 7 branches. Let's see how many I got here. No, that's the Chanukah. This is a Chanukiah. See, my moose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My head is the 9th. But this is just a regular menorah, like the one that was in the temple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and my head is 7.
Is the 9th one.
Right? So we have the 7 right here. They needed to relight that. They needed to relight the Neil Tamid, right? And it's not that they didn't have oil. There was plenty of oil, but it's a very special oil. And then the miracle is that it took them time to find more of the special oil, right? So we go Hanukkah rededication. So now, Doug, and then I'm going to go to the next question of why 8 days.
Lordy mentioned the children.
Yeah.
And I think this holiday is especially hard on them. I was a public school teacher for a long time. I taught music. And so I had to put on Christmas concerts. Finally, that got changed about 30 or 40 years ago to a winter concert. But they're not Easter concerts, and there's no other kind of concert, but there is a winter concert, which primarily theme revolves around Christmas.
Of course.
And it was a challenge to include the Jewish kids with my Glee Club saying songs, and I always tried to find one Jewish tune, and there's a plethora of Christmas songs, but there's not that many Jewish songs for elementary schools. So it's a tough one on the children.
It is. I mean, even the show South Park, there's one of the there's a cartoon. It's a very reverent cartoon. There's one character on there. His name's Kyle, and he always sings, "It's hard to be a Jew on Christmas." Right? He sings this whole song about that. Right? It's like, yeah. So I mean, but it takes it from somewhere. Yeah, for the kids, it's hard, especially if you're trying to become part of the mainstream society. Right? So now let's get to the question of why 8 days. Why 8 days?
Well,
go ahead, Nina.
Supposed to be lit every day of the week. Actually, they lit one to show them which day it is of the week. The menorah was just not something that was put there for nothing. It was supposed to actually count the days of the week, help them.
So why 8 days?
The day they are living in. So the 8th one, the shamash, which is the one who serves the other, this is what was added. And I don't know what the take on it is. Maybe you know.
So what's really beautiful about this is it said that there's another holiday and you see this in the book of Maccabees too, another holiday that we celebrated not too long ago. Boom, Sukkot, the harvest holiday, the Sukkot. That Sukkot is 8 days, but they weren't able to celebrate Sukkot.
Right.
They weren't ready. They weren't able to celebrate Sukkot. And that is one of the pilgrimage holidays, right? The one that is closest to Hanukkah, that pat from behind. So when they were now able to rededicate the temple and take over it, it's sometimes Hanukkah is also referred to as second Sukkot. Right. Second Sukkot, even though it's not the harvest, but they still, and there are even some teaching that said that the Maccabees brought in lulav and etrog and shook the lulav in the temple for 8 days as an opportunity now that they were free to celebrate Sukkot, and they wanted to get back to business. They didn't want to wait until the next Sukkot. They were just going to hook it up to do it right then, right? So another very interesting, another interesting point where we get the 8. It's not arbitrary. It comes from tradition, and I do like this point of it's not a made-up miracle, but it's an expression of a new miracle or an additional miracle to understand, right? And Lorraine, you're right. It is tough with the kids. You want to be able to create opportunities for them to be accessible. However, that being said, right, and this is a little bit of a tangent. As our children get older, we can't shy away from those pieces of our tradition, because then what happens when they get older, even more so, they get angry with, well, you never told me this. You never told me. You never told me. Well, I didn't want to tell you because, well, you never told me, and it just makes it more of a hocus pocus than actual something I can actually be a part of and learn about and wrestle with and struggle with, right? It's very interesting. Like the Purim story, we think it ends with the hanging of Haman and everybody, the Jews are free, hooray! No, the end, actually, next part is the Jews go out and they kill all these people, all these other Persians. They're like, oh, you didn't get us, now we're gonna get you. We never tell the kids that part. But we shouldn't be afraid to, as they get older, to be able to start grappling with these issues, right? I'm actually seeing that this is a tangent. This is totally a tangent, but not really. With students, Penina, you're shaking your head. Let me finish my thought. Come on.
You are on the subject of Purim. I don't want to lose it.
But that when some college kids are, when we're talking about the state of Israel, they said they've come back to me at camp and they said, you never told me about the problems in the China. You just painted a picture that Israel is all like, innovation and kibbutzim and all that kind of yay. And I said, actually, that's not true. I actually did share with you a lot of the bumps and the bruises because I just didn't do it well enough. And I even went back and showed them, here's my lesson plans from your summer camp experience, right? But we can't be afraid to deal with the challenging issues, because if we don't deal with them, then what happens is that it becomes even harder to create connections later on in life. Brina, let me give you one. So I want to just go to over here. We got a hand raised over here. And then I'll give you the word right after with your fabulous hand raised. Go ahead. You're muted.
Me?
Right here with the, yes, perfect.
There. This is Janet Rappaport.
Yes, Janet.
Hi. Well, I'm having 4 grandchildren, twins 5 and twins 7 tonight, with some older grandchildren. We're 18 altogether. And when you were talking about the 8 nights of Hanukkah, you talked about the special oil, is it not the idea that the oil lasted for 8 nights? Is that not what we're saying these days?
No, it is. We are saying that because that is also part of the tradition, right? That's the Talmudic tradition, that the oil, this very special oil, that they only had enough for one day, and it took them 8 days to find more. But in the meantime, it did last. It's also associated with, right, the fact that Sukkot lasted for 8 days, and this was one of the most important holidays that they were now free to celebrate. So it's both. Great question.
Thank
So
you.
yes, we're teaching them both. We're teaching them the whole thing. Yes. Don't be like, nah, this is wrong. We're not doing oil. No, we are still doing the story of the oil. Still doing it. We're still doing it. Go, Penina, and then we got another thing to move on to.
So we're going back to Purim. Purim, the decree to kill the Jews was already taken out. HaShavuah already sent it out, but the kings couldn't reverse their own order at the time. If they did some kind of a law to do something, they couldn't reverse their own thing. So what happened was that they did another decree that the Jews are allowed to defend themselves. And the whole lesson of Purim is that you really don't want to live in a country when you need permission to defend yourself. And that's what happened there. They were defending themselves. They weren't just out there in the streets killing the Persians.
Okay.
Read
That's
it again.
a nice interpretation. All right. So this is fascinating. I want to get to, in the few minutes. Did I miss any hands before I continue? I want to get to this next part. This is really, really interesting because this time of year, when we're talking about this story, Hanukkah, assimilation and light and dark and all that, we're always read from the Torah portion Miketz around this time, which is where right in the thick of the Joseph story. We are right. Oh no, there's one more thing I needed to tell you before we go to the. Okay, I'll just do this on one foot because since I even just started this idea. Why do we light the candles? 1 candle to 8 rather than starting out with 8 and doing a countdown to 1. Why do we start with 1 candle and light up to 8 versus starting with 8 and count down to 1? Why do we do that? And this is go, Doug.
This was a big debate at the time of Hillel and Shammai.
Woo! Yeah, Doug, bringing in Hillel Shammai.
Hillel said, 1 to 8, and Shammai said 8 to 1. And Hillel won because it is increasing, getting brighter. The light is getting brighter each night.
We don't want to diminish the miracle. We don't want to diminish the elevation of ourselves and our souls and our community, right? We don't want it to dim. We want to bring more light. Yes, very good. That's actually also a Talmudic debate. It's in the book about Shabbat, which also just talks about also a lot of different holidays. And there's this whole conversation between Shammai. Was a specific rabbi, and also that's like a school of thought, and Hillel, another rabbi, but also a school of thought, right? And they have this debate, but both are there. Both are there. Even the dissenting debate, even the minority opinions are shared there. Okay, but now this is fascinating here. We're in the story of Joseph, right? We're in the story of Joseph. Joseph, one of the sons of Jacob or Israel. And we remember the story with Joseph's dreams, and with the coat of many colors, and they threw him in the pit, and then they sent him away, and then he becomes this really big and important person in Egypt. And he's the one who comes up, he interprets Pharaoh's dreams, and he's able to tell Pharaoh that the dreams mean that there's going to be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. So during the 7 years of plenty, don't eat so much, let's save our food. And then during the 7 years of famine, we'll be able to take care of ourselves. But they had saved so much that they were even then sharing it with all the people around them, right? Because it said the whole world, but it's really meaning like that area, because they had no idea that there was a famine coming. And then it was like, now Joseph is a big deal. And Joseph, right? Here's two really fascinating, I'm going to share my screen right here, fascinating points I wanted to share with all of you. All right. Check this out. So he has 2 children at first, right before all these things happened. Before the years of famine came, Joseph became the father of 2 sons. And with the daughter of Potiphar, right, born to him. And he named it Manasseh and Ephraim and Manasseh. And these 2 boys, who eventually they become tribes of Israel, right? That Joseph is not a tribe, but rather his 2 sons are considered each a tribe, because then later on, Jacob adopts them, and they become like his sons. His grandsons become his sons. But we bless our boys, right? In every Shabbat, we bless our boys with the blessing of Ephraim and Manasseh. May you be like Ephraim and Manasseh, right? We bless our girls, like Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah. But our boys, we bless them to be like Ephraim and Manasseh, which I find very fascinating. They become tribes. These are the ones but yet, look at the translation, or what it's supposed to be, right? Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh, meaning God has made me forget completely my hardship and my paternal home. I'm going to name my kid about the fact that I am now living in the diaspora. And I have forgot where I've come from. I'm done with that. I forgot where I came from. I forgot my hardship. Now I'm living a good life here in the Golden Medina of Egypt. And then the second name being Ephraim, meaning God has made me fertile in the land of my affliction. So the first name, Manasseh, I forgot where I came from. I'm good here. And Ephraim, meaning my life has really just been fabulous here, even though this is the land of my quote unquote affliction, or one could extrapolate out This is the land of the diaspora, where I shouldn't have to live in a place where I have permission to defend myself, as Prina said so eloquently and beautifully, which I find fascinating that these are the names given, and these are the names that we bless our children by, when these are actually the translations of these names are really about assimilation and forgetting where you come from. So much so that Joseph forgot where he came from. This is also fascinating. I'm going to scroll down over here. Okay, let's look over here. So now Joseph is with his brothers. And the brothers don't know that Joseph's there. And they're like arguing amongst themselves, saying, we should get out of here. This is, we shouldn't just leave our brother here. Maybe we should get out of here. This is like a really bad idea. And they don't recognize Joseph. And one would think that Joseph should be able to understand the language that they're speaking because he is their brother. This is where he grew up. But what does it say? In line 23, they did not know that Joseph understood, for there was an interpreter between him and them. Joseph needed an interpreter to understand his brothers, as if he forgot where he came from. He has forgotten where he's come from. He named his kids such. He has now forgotten where he's even forgot his own language, right? But yet that doesn't mean the language is still not his, right? He may have forgotten it. It doesn't mean that it's still not his. And it's fascinating that we celebrate Hanukkah during this time when there's this real fight between what does it mean to stay true to tradition and who you are versus adopting another's culture and religion and language. And is there a way to find a nice balance in between, to say that I'm not forgetting who I am, that I'm not giving up on who I am, but rather I'm evolving as a person of the world, and I am incorporating other things to strengthen and maybe even beautify my culture and where I come from, right? I find that very, very fascinating that this is the time of year that we read this. I'm going to stop my share, right? It gets into some other really fascinating things where we still testing his brothers, and does he believe him? Does he not believe him? Does he want to keep him close? Does he want to get rid of them? Because then what happens, right? This is the part of the story where they leave Israel in a little while, where they live the promised land, where the whole family moves down to Egypt. Maybe I'm giving a little something away for the next couple of weeks, but we're getting into some really juicy stuff. Brad.
Well, the other side of that, I'm thinking of Nietzsche and On History, where he talks about the danger of spending too much time in the past, because that can paralyze you in terms of action. So if you're saying these holidays, the key thing that separates these holidays about other holidays is the agency that humans have. We're talking about liberating oneself from the past so that one can act in the present.
But acting in the yes, I love that. But then the question becomes, what does it mean to act in the present in an authentic and positive way versus a assimilationist, get rid of and forget where you've come from, right? Because look, it's like using that rear view mirror when you're driving. You don't want to stare in the rear view mirror while you're driving. You're going to get in an accident if you're just staring at where you come from, right? You're not looking ahead. But at the same time, if you're just looking ahead, right, and you don't sometimes glance in that rear view mirror, you don't know what else is coming in behind you and whatnot. You still want to be going forward, but you want to do it in a productive, responsible, safe way, right? So I think it's a little bit of a dance there. Okay, last word. Miriam got the last word. Oh, I saw Phyllis and Warren. Hey, raise your hand. I'm gonna go Miriam and then Phyllis and Warren. You got the last name. You got the last word.
I want the last word. In fact, I love to hear my colleagues here. But you said something so wonderful, Rabbi. to the point, and for us to take with us inside of us, although there were several lessons that we could take away from us just by being here today with you. And one of the things that you said was that we are those people. Now, I'm interpreting it. We are those people. We are the Maccabees and the Hashmonaim living among this very strong Greek Syrian culture. We're living within it. We live every day within a larger culture. Perhaps it comes to a very vital point during the Hanukkah Christmas time. And that's when so many of us are engulfed, are caught up in, are swimming inside of this Christmas major, this Christmasism that starts right after Thanksgiving, that is around us every single day of our Jewish life. And it isn't a matter of fighting it. It isn't a matter of being distant about it. It isn't a matter of struggling. We don't have to struggle. But this is the time of our lives. This, at this very moment, Basman Hazeh, Bayamim Ha'elu, these are the moments when we can assert ourselves so Jewishly, when we're given such a positive opportunity. And I feel that when we light the menorah, we're not looking at the lights. We are the light. I am the light at 95 years old, to bring light to others. That is what I intend to do today with my life, to bring light to others. And I mean it. And I don't mean to sound preachy. I mean it so deeply.
Yes, you do. That is for real.
Thank
Amen.
you.
Amen. 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 Phyllis and Warren, last word.
Well, I just want to say that there's a good reason why Miriam has the last word. That was absolutely beautiful. And I don't think I can follow up on that. So I'll just wish everybody a happy Hanukkah.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Well done. You guys are awesome. And of course, I didn't get to even 90% of the other stuff. Oh, well, next time. Bye, everybody.